Right, so let's go. Jurassic Park on the Sega Mega Drive versus the Super Nintendo. Who wins? Let's see.
Jurassic Park was released in 1993 and directed by the now legendary director, one Mr. Steven Spielberg. The film centres on an island where a wealthy businessman and a team of scientists build what they consider to be the ultimate theme park stroke zoo, which features dinosaurs. What could possibly go wrong? And of course it does go wrong, with dinos running loose all over the place. Now of course, this film was massive for the time, and the special effects, they were just truly outstanding, with effects we had not seen the like of before. It had certainly moved on from the classic Harryhausen effects days. Now, the surefire winner of having amazing effects combined with dinosaurs was sure to create a massive hit, and it did just that. Jurassic Park grossed over $900 million on its first worldwide box office release and knocked Spielberg's previous highest grossing film of all time, E.T., off the top spot, where Jurassic Park managed to stay the highest grossing film for the next 5 years before it was sunk by none other than Titanic. With such a huge film and its financial impact, it was obvious that a video game was to follow, and that it did. Releases on the NES, the Nintendo Game Boy and the Super Nintendo were produced by Ocean, who released many film tie-in licensed games, with releases also by Ocean for both the Commodore Amiga and the DOS computer system. Whilst the Sega release for the Master System, the Sega Game Gear and the Sega Mega Drive were developed by Blue Sky Software. But for today's versus video of Jurassic Park to coincide with Sega Mania's issue 4, we'll be looking at possibly the two best consoles from a generation, the Sega Mega Drive and the Super Nintendo. And when we talk about console wars, they don't come any better than this. So let's kick off this versus game comparison of Jurassic Park, Sega Mega Drive versus the Super Nintendo by firstly looking at the SNES version. And remember to stick around till the very end for my verdict, which will be followed by the current values of this game on both of these systems. Kicking off with the Super Nintendo SNES version here is the intro. Now, as already mentioned, this was developed by Ocean Software, who did all the Nintendo licenses, and Blue Sky did all the Sega licenses. Quite why this was done like this, I don't know, and why one company didn't get the whole job lot is beyond me, but I'm sure one of you guys knows. As always, drop it in the comments and let me know. So the SNES version, very colourful, the graphics on this. They opted for a dropped top-down menu. You play Dr. Grant. You're exploring a very large map, alright? This play area is huge, and as you're exploring, you have to undertake various tasks, all the while zapping the different dinosaur enemies you come across. Now, a good variety of weaponry was available to you to help you on your tasks, but this game was far from easy. It was such a huge space, as I already mentioned. It was Jurassic. See what I did there? As you wander around the map, you come across buildings at various points, and these buildings are all enterable. You can go into all of them. Now, when you enter the various buildings, this is where the game would then flip to a FPS view, first person, similar to Wolfenstein and sort of the old Doom games of the day, where you would then have to complete a task whilst avoiding the dinosaurs. Now, the strange part to these levels are the dinosaurs themselves, okay? As they seem to have zero intention of eating you. They'll not attack you unless you're nose to nose with them. And at first, these FPS levels, they looked really impressive. but as you play through the game, undergoing the various tasks, etc., you soon tire of them. I personally feel if they'd have kept these buildings, the internal side of these buildings, just as a like a top down, like the rest of the game, I feel it would have benefited. I feel it would have made the game a lot better, really. Like the majority of the gameplay in the game. But like I say, at first it looks good, but you soon tire of these. Now, a real positive here is the soundtrack. On this game, it's really pleasant, and actually it takes makes the toil of walking around such a huge game space map almost tolerable. But this is where the biggest fault in this version lies. I mean, graphically, it's cutesy, it looks good, I liked it. Nice, bright, bold, colourful. Sound was good, as I've already mentioned, but there was no save feature on this, no password feature to save your progress, which made completing this game difficult because it was hard to do in one single sitting, do you know what I mean? On the plus side, the top-down graphics, the animations, everything looked good, and the soundtrack was great, as I said. So that concludes our look at the SNES version. Let's go take a look at see how Sega managed, shall we? Firstly, we have to remember that this isn't a straight comparison in respect of the games on both systems were very different. This is as close as they get, this little screen here, honestly. The intros and everything else are completely different, the gameplay, everything. So, quite an interesting concept. As I've already asked, why they chose to do this, I don't know, and use two different companies. It's beyond me, but I'm sure one of you guys will know, because you usually know most things. So, this is the Mega Drive version. So your car's been demolished, the dinosaurs are loose, and you have to make your way to the power station. The team at Blue Sky did a good job on this version. They created a very playable game. It was side-scrolling, sort of run, jump, shoot, adventure type game, and the graphics were very well done. Had a certain photorealism to them for the time, and reminded me very similar to Flashback. Anyone remember that game? I think graphically it was quite similar, you know, in the same sort of style really, and I felt it worked particularly well, especially on the dinosaurs, the animation of the dinosaurs. Overall, very good. But to be fair to the SNES version, I felt the soundtrack was not as good on the Mega Drive as it was on the SNES. But a big plus for the Mega Drive was this, and it was the ability to save your in-game progress via the password feature, which made this game more achievable. The Mega Drive version also had a massive advantage over the SNES, and it was this. You could choose to play the game as either Dr. Grant or as a Velociraptor. If you chose to play the Doctor, you had to shoot the dinosaurs with dart guns, you'd get gas bombs, all sorts of different weaponry, while sleeping and running about. But if you played as the Velociraptor, and let's be honest, why wouldn't you? You got to leap around and kill and maim various park rangers with your very impressive claws and them rather sharp teeth. So gave a very different spin on the game completely to the SNES version. Overall, looked good, played well. Both versions, very nice. But as always, there can be only one winner. So let's go take a look now at at my verdict, and remember, stick around for the valuations that I'm adding on this one as well. Here we go.
So, verdict time. Now, before we get into the verdict of these two, if you don't already do so and you're interested, go check out the Sega Mania magazine. Honestly, it's great for all you retro game fans, of which there are lots of us on this channel. So, go check it out. There's a link in the notes, etc. All right? Now, equally, if you've come to this channel via Sega Mania, A, welcome on board, and B, where you been? Good to have you. And C, Do what that little fella over there says. Honestly, he knows his stuff, that little man. He's a good little fella. Trust him. Do what he says. Follow his lead. Anyway, on to my verdict. So, let's look first at the Super Nintendo version, because that's the version we looked at first. Graphically, really like this. Nice and bright, cartoony, you know. Look down, drop down front. It was good. But it had its drawbacks. And one drawback was when you went into the rooms, you know, and it come into that nice 3D effect. Great for the first level. And then you realised the dinosaurs didn't attack you. Not just that, I mean, you know, it got monotonous, it got dull, it got boring, it got very repetitive, and it just detracted from the game for me. I think it would have been so much better if they'd have done that as drop down as well. I honestly think it would have made it better. The positive on this version, the biggest positive, was the soundtrack. The soundtrack was very, very good on the SNES version. Okay, so well done on that. And again, no save feature. What were you thinking? I mean, to sit down and do this game in one sitting was just nigh on impossible, you know? You'd have a very numb backside by the end of it, I'm sure. So now, let's go take a look at the Sega Mega Drive version. Now, this was a very different game completely. Completely different game. Very enjoyable. A side-scrolling platformer with shooting elements. I liked the graphics on this. Very photorealistic in places, especially the dinosaurs. I thought they looked pretty cool. And of course, you could be the Velociraptor on certain levels as well, which was nothing but a bonus. Equally, the sound was not as good on this version as it was on the sound on the Nintendo was better, I felt. But that aside, this version played better, looked better, and it had that game save password option, which made the game so much better because you weren't doing on a bloody, you know, one sitting. You could come back to the game and pick up where you left off, which was a massive bonus. So, this week's winner goes to the Sega Mega Drive. Well done, Sega. Good result. Now as a little bonus for you guys, as I said, we're going to look at some of the valuations of these games, all right? Now, those that follow the channel know I do like me retro game pickups, and I love collecting my old retro video games, so I'm always interested to know the valuations and prices of these, all right? Now, we look at the two prices, and I'm just looking at some listings on eBay, sold listings. These have actually sold. These aren't people have put them on there for stupid prices or anything like that. So these are actually what they sold for. So first off, loose cart. If you're looking for a loose cart version of Jurassic Park for the Mega Drive, generally you're looking at anywhere sort of between £4 to £8, really. Okay. Now, a complete inbox with manual, because hey, it's not complete if it hasn't got a manual. But you know that if you watch the channel. You're looking at anywhere sort of between £12 up to sort of £20-ish. Okay. So all in all, not a badly priced title, really. Then we come to the Super Nintendo valuations. Now, I always find generally, as a general rule of thumb, Super Nintendo games generally cost a bit more than the Mega Drive. All right? More collectible, maybe? I don't know why. They just are. A loose cart for this, you're looking at anywhere sort of between £8 to £12. And if you want a complete in-box version, anywhere between sort of 20 upwards. I mean, one even went for like over 50 quid. So well, it's more than the Mega Drive for sure. So anyway, that concludes my little valuation there at the end. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being you. You know what to do. And thanks for being subs and all your likes and all your comments. Let me have your comments as always. I'm OGDuffy. You're you. Laters.